ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषये भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्ते भेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। साक्षात् कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिम् यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम् देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः।
ॐ श्री
परमात्मने नमः।
अथ त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः।
त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः।
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
नम्बर् 8 अमानित्वमदम्भित्वमहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम्
शान्तिरार्जवम्
आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यमात्मविनिग्रहः
आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यमात्मविनिग्रहः
इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यमनहङ्कार एव च
इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यमनहङ्कार एव च
जन्म मृत्युजरा व्याधि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम्
जन्म मृत्युजरा व्याधि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम्
असक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गः पुत्रदारगृहादिषु
गृहद्दिषु
नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम् तत्त्वमिष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु
नित्यं च
नित्यं च
समचित्तत्वम्
समचित्त्वमिष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु
इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु
मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी
मयि
मयि
चानन्ययोगेन
चानन्ययोगेन
भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी
भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी
विविक्तदेशसेवित्वमरतिर्जनसंसदि
विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम्
विविक्तदेशसेवित्वमरतिर्जनसंसदि
अरतिर्जनसंसदि
अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम्
अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वं
अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वं
तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम्
तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम्
एतज्ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तमज्ञानं यदतोऽन्यथा
एतज्ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम्
एतज्ज्ञानमिदमज्ञातम्
अज्ञानं
यथा
यतथोऽन्यथा
अमानित्वम् आत्मश्लाघन अभावः. We have seen the Shloka number 8. Adambitvam. Dambitvam. Dambitvam is Swadharma Prakatikaranam Dambitvam. Na Dambitvam Adambitvam. Then Ahimsa. Ahimsa Praninam. Pīdanam Himsa. Tadabhavaha. Na Himsa. Himsa. All negative. Amanitvam Adambitvam Ahimsa. Then Shantihi. Shantihi. That is Shantihi is Sakanam Savadukkanam Apratikara Purvakam Tiksha Ityartaha. So, therefore, Paraparadat, Para Aparada Prapto, Avikriya, there is no reaction to it. Vikriya, Avikriya. Vikriya is reaction. This Kriyayaha, Pratyekam Kriyayaha, Avikriya Asti. There is reaction for every action, equal and opposite. But here there is no reaction. Shantihi, Avikrita Chittata. Starting from the chitta, the level of the mind, there is no reaction. If the person responds to the situation, Shanti, then Arjavam Rujibhavaka, straightforwardness. The word, the thinking, the words, and the deeds, action, all are in alignment. The person is a complete, reliable person. That is, it's not a split personality, doesn't play fast and loose, Arjavam. All these are important values. These values have to be cultivated, in the presence of which Jnanam is not far away. Then Acharya Upasanam. Acharyopasanam. Acharya Upasanam is Acharya Sevanam. Moksha Sadhana Upadeshtuhu Acharyasya. Sevanam Katam Shushushavi. Sevanam. Pranipata Pariprashna Sevavihi Acharya Upasanam. Tadvitti Pranipatena Pariprashtena Sevaya. The one I said in the fourth chapter, by that. Then Shaucham. Antara as well as Bhagya. Bhagya Shaucham. Antara Shaucham is Ragadi Mala Apanayana. That is Shaucham. Cleansing. That is by yoga. Karma yoga iti. Shaucham. After that also, you have to keep the mind pure. Karma yogena raga dveshadi nivritti. Then further Shaucham is done by Japa ityadi sadhana. Japa purifies the mind. So that is Shaucham. But whichever method, the mind has to be kept clean. Mind is like a copper vessel. If it is not clean, it will gather dust. It will gather a green coating. Similarly, here also, but to be clean, kept clean. That's why Nitya, karma, the form of japa, upasana are important. The stadium, that is another word, another quality. Stadium, sthirabhava, commitment to the Purushartha. Purushartha Nishchaya, Vyavasayatmika Buddhiki first, and then being committed to that, not carried away by any form of obstacles. Obstacles may be in the form of some attractions, some fascination for something. The person may get drifted away from the path. The fourth, moksha marge sthirabhavaha, that is stadium, steadfastness in the goal. So with regard to the goal, there is clear nishchaya, there is clear determination and sticking to the sadhana, that is important. Then atma vinigraha, self-mastery. Karya karana sangatasya vinigraha. So nirodha, sarvatah pravuttasya moksha marge nirodha. That is the word nirodha, chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga Sutra. Chittavritti Nirodha Yogaha. Yogastu Chittavritti Nirodha. Not stopping the thoughts. Thoughts cannot be stopped. Nirodha is channelizing, directing. Directing the thoughts towards the Sanmarga, Moksha Marga. Atma Vinigraha. Not only the mind, body, mind, sense, everything. Vinigraha. Keeping them intact, keeping them in such a way that it is conducive for the pursuit of moksha. Therefore, it includes everything. When you say Atma can mean mind, Atma can mean Shariram also. Atma can mean Indriya also. Therefore, we can understand that here that Atma Vinigraha means Shamaha, Damaha. Shamaha is Mano Nigraha, Damaha, Indriya Nigraha. So Indriya Nigraha, Nirodha. Manasaha, Nigraha, Nirodha. Mano Nigraha, that is Shamaha. Therefore, the person has to be a Shani, the person has to be a Dami. It is the first shloka in this eighth shloka. This is the first shloka of the 20 spiritual values which are listed from here. And that it is the shloka, first shloka, seventh shloka. Then the next shloka, up to this we have seen, next shloka we have to see. Indriyarteshu. Indriyarteshu, Indriya Arteshu, Indriyanam Artaha. Indriyartha. What is Indriyartha? Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. The Indriyarteshu. That is Indriyartha. Indriyarteshu, Shabdadishu, Shotradinam Arteshu, Shabdadishu, Vishayeshu, Vairagyam. That Vishaya could be a Drishta Vishaya, could be Adrishta Vishaya. The Indriya Vishaya could be the Vishaya which is Drishtam or Adrishtam. Could be imagination also. Or could be which is available for your perception. Indriya Artha. So Artha Indriya is sense organ. Indriya Artha is sense object. So Indriyateshu with regard to sense objects, there should be Viragaha, Viragasya Bhavaha, Vairagyam. There should be objectivity. Vairagyam, Raga, Abhavaha, Vita Ragaha. Vitaha, Ragaha, Yasya Saha, Viragaha. Tasya Bhavaha, Vairagyam. The Raga means Trishna, anchoring, love for that. Absence of that, Vaitrishnam. That is Vairagya. What is the use of going after those Indriya Vishaya? What do I get? Do I get what I want in life? Do I get what I see? When I seek Purnatvam, when I want freedom, when I don't want to be bound, do I get what I want by pursuing those sense objects? That clarity should be there. not carried away emotionally, not carried away by any sort of temptation towards sense object, bringing in the the knowledge that pursuing those objects that will not give me what I seek, that is moksha. Therefore, it is of no use. Therefore, give up. That giving up is that is vairagya. So analysis, you have to do the analysis of what I want. The clarity should be there. So by that understanding, you act in a very matured way. So that your dispassion becomes natural towards sense objects, towards sense pursuit. So the sanmarga, this sanmarga, sanmarga chalanam, sanmarge, this the yatra, the traveling to sanmarga, jnana marga, that is possible only when there is vairagya. The vairagya is not there. Vairagyam is backed by the understanding. Brahma satyam, jagan mithya. Atma satyam, idam sarvam anatma. It is anitya. It is anitya. Therefore, what is the benefit of pursuing the anitya vishaya? There are so many anitya vishaya. Anitya vishaya is only one atma. Anitya vastu ekameva. Tadanyata sarvam anityam. If this is not understood through anitya vastu, if you try to gain nitya, that is not going to happen. Will not solve the problem of samsara. In fact, it will create more and more desire for that. And that also, having gained that, it is not going to fulfill because it has its inherent dosha in the form of it is anitya, it will bind you. All the other doshas are there. Therefore, Vishayeshu dosha drishti. When you can see the dosha, the defects in that, the natural vairagya will be natural, natural vairagya. The Vishayeshu asaktihi because of Shobhanadhyasa. You see something more than that deserves. That is Shobhanadhyasa. That has to go. Otherwise, it will disappoint. So it's all our own projections. All projections, it has no basis at all. So that projections, imaginations, imaginative projections, so that has to go. So one has to come to the reality. So therefore, it is when we say Vairagya, it is not an aversion. It is based on understanding. We don't add anything extra to it. Seeing the objects as it is. That's why we have objectivity. Objectivity, when we say it is backed up by analysis, inquiry, analyze, value, evaluate what it is, whether it subserves my moksha pursuit or not. If it is, then it is okay. Otherwise, vairagya, it can be dismissed. Therefore, indriyarteshu, vairagyam is important. So, vairagyam backed up by viveka. So, vairagyam without viveka, where is vairagya? Therefore, vairagyam should be backed up by the understanding of what is nitya and what is anitya. Atma nityaha, tadanyata sarvam anityam yat. So, when I pursue Atma, then I have to stop pursuing, I have to stop going after anitya. You cannot pursue Atma and you cannot pursue Anatma. Atma pursuit is a Atma is a very jealous wife. It's a jealous pursuit. It cannot allow other pursuits. It cannot be a priority and it cannot be the shayorti at the same time. Preyascha shayascha manushya meta tausam parita vivinakti viraha. Either you choose prayers or you choose shayas. Choosing prayers that is not going to benefit you in the long run. You will continue to be a samsari. But shayas, it will free you from samsara. In fact, that is the Purushartha, Param Purushartha. Therefore, backed by understanding, proper inquiry, knowledge, clear determination, Vairagya is natural. It is not turning away from the Vishaya, it is giving them the respective place. If the pursuit of those Vishayas do not help me in my moksha pursuit, then I dismiss it. Not out of hatred, but out of understanding. Brahmadis Stamba Paryantam. Brahmadis Stamba Paryantam. Starting from Brahma Padavi, up to this small grass, stump of grass. Vairagyam. Yataiva Kaka Vishtayam. Vairagyam. Yataiva Kaka Vishtayam. So starting from Brahma Padavi up to the stump of grass, a lump of grass, with regard to everything, then one must have Vairagya. So Yataiva Kaka Vishtayam, like the Kaka Vishta. How we have this disgusting feeling for the droppings of the crows. Similarly, Yataiva Kaka Vishtayam, one must have a dispassion for that. So that Deva Kaka Vishtayam, when he says Kaka Vishtayam, there is an hatred. That is how the Shastram presents. Brahmadis Samaparyantam. Yateva Kaka Vishtayam Vairagyam Asti. Yata Kaka Vishtayam Vairagyam Tadvat. You must have complete hatred, complete disgust. Disgusting means that is it is not that is it is that you have disgust for the Kaka Visht. Similarly, if you have this disgusting for the Brahma means that is backed by understanding. Otherwise, mere hatred will not solve the problem. That is why we don't translate the word Vairagya to be dispassion, because dispassion has got a negative connotation. So objectivity is the right translation. Though we say dispassion is fine, we are not passionate about the sense objects. Therefore, dispassion. But dispassion should not be based on hatred. Probably the translation also dispassion is based on shlokas like this. So, Yateva Kakavishtayaram Vairagyam Taddi. Vairagya Visheshvano. It is said in Aprokshanubhuti. With regard to the Aprokshanubhuti, the Shankaracharya, he emphasizes so much the Vairagya, therefore he says, as you have the disgusting feeling for the Kakavishta, similarly you have that feeling for everything other than this moksha. Therefore, Brahma is Samaparyantam. So it means the thought of this should never occur in your mind as you dismiss Rakavishta. Similarly, also, that way he says that. That way it is translated dispassion. It is fine, dispassion, the word, but it is not out of hatred, because that which you hate, hatred, the feeling also, that feeling has another form, love. So it may convert into love later also, possible. So that is why that Vairagya should be backed up by Viveka. Otherwise, what will happen by understanding this shloka or not knowing what Viveka is? You hate. Hate means keep hating, but not backed up by Viveka. Viveka not there. That what you hate. When you say hate, there is opposite to hate, that love, that is also present. Because you love, therefore you hate. So hatred has its counterpart, love. Love also has its counterpart, hate. Where love is, there will be hatred. Where hatred is there, there alone love will be. So they go together. These are pairs of opposites. Therefore, dispassion, when you say there is passion for that something naturally, and therefore that you have dispassion. So when you say dispassion, it is acknowledging passion for that. Acknowledging passion for that. That passion also has to go based on understanding. Therefore, it is neither an object of passion nor dispassion. You are objective. That is why Swamiji uses the word objectivity. That's the best translation. Though we see the meaning of the word Vairagya, dispassion, it is fine. But objectivity is better, best translation. Fine. That is Vairagya, being objective, not emphasizing, not coloring the object with more than what it deserves, seeing as it is. That is Vairagya. Vishayeshu dosha drishti. Therefore, don't have Shobhana Adhyasa. Understanding the Vishayas as it is. It has its plus as well as minus. When you emphasize plus, that is Shobhana Adhyasa. When you emphasize minus, that minus also can become plus later. Our mind is so cunning, it may convert the plus minus also into plus. The view changes. So therefore, with regard to them being objective, seeing them as it is, what purpose it serves me in my person, does it serve or not? Is going to be supportive or going to be impediment? If it is going to be supportive, fine. If it is going to be an obstacle, drop it. Very clear. That is Vairagya. Then Anasankaraha. Asankaraha, na Agankaraha, Anasankaraha, means Tatpurusha. Agankara, sense of I, Aham, Mama, I, me, mine, that is absence of that, absence of these notions is Anasankaraha. That is not possible in the wake of, that is not possible without the knowledge. That is not possible without knowledge. Anasankaraha is possible only in the wake of Jnanam. So, but Anasankara is presented as a value here. So it means Agankara has to be sufficiently be seasoned, should be matured Agankara. So it should be a matured Agankara, not the complete absence of the Ahankara. So that is not possible. Ahankara that will go away only in the wake of knowledge. But this Ahankara is a submissive Ahankara, a humble Ahankara. So therefore Anahankara. Ahankara, Garvaha, pride, etc. Tat abhava. How to make it then this Ahankara into a relative less Ahankara? You attribute everything to Bhagavan. This Ishvara Kripa, because of whom I have gained this or I am so and so. In that way, Ahankara can be made submissive. That is Anahankara. Ahankara completely going away, it will happen only in the state of knowledge. Only when Jnana happens, then only it goes. But as a value, it is given to be practiced as a value. So what is at the absolute level is to be practiced relatively at the sadhana level. Anahankara is natural when jnanam happens. And that is the sadhya, that is the end. As a sadhana, it should be practiced. So what is sadhanam, what is deliberately practiced, that becomes spontaneous, natural, as sadhya is the end. So therefore, this is a value, as a value to be practiced. Then, ahankaraha yevacha, janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha dosha anudarsha is one word, the compound. Generally, when we chant Gita, we pause with each, no, at the end of each pada. But I've changed my method of chanting. I don't pause. Indriyateshu vairagyam ahankara yevacha. Or if you pause, Indriyateshu vairagyam, Indriyateshu vairagyam, anahankara yevacha. We pause and do. But here we cannot pause. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha dosha anudarshanam, because it's a compound, one word. Pratipadikam is Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshana. Napumsakalinga, like Palashabdavat. One word. Dosha Anudarshanam Pratama Ekavacham. Janmacha, Mrityuscha, Jaracha, Yadayascha, Dukkhanicha. Compound. Vitareta Dunda Samasa. Teshu, Janma Dukkha Jara Vyadi Dukkeshu, Dosha Darshanam. seeing the defects. Dosha darshanam, seeing the defects. Seeing clearly in Janma, in Marana, in Jara and Vyadi, the problem of dukkha, dosha, anudarshanam. Darshanam is seeing, anudarshanam is repeatedly seeing. Again, again and again, one has to see the problem, the defects in that. So it is not just a thinking, simple thinking. It is seeing the limitations really. And has to see the limitations in this, the defects in this. So that the desire for moksha becomes becomes dominant. That's the reason. Therefore, dukkha dosha anudhartam. Only when you see dukkha in this, then only desire for moksha either will remain or will increase. If dosha anudarshanam, if it is not there, it becomes it's slacks, then desire for moksha gets taken slowly. Therefore, repeatedly seeing the defects in this. And it's true also, in Janma there is dukkha. Janmani, Garbha, Vasayoho, Garbha Vasa Yoni Dwara, Nisaranam. What is Janma? Janma is birth. What is born? The body is born. Atma is not born. Najayate, Namriyate va kadachite, Nayam Bhuta Bhavitavana Bhuya, Bhavitavana Bhuyaha. Then what is born? This body is born. How it is born? It is born from the Yoni, Garbha Vasa Yoni Dwara, Nisaranam. That is dosha. That is a defect here to see. Tasya anudarshanam, alochanam. Similarly, mrityu also. Mrityu, when we say mrityu, here we have, we have fear, the fear of uncertainty, mrityu. And more on vyadi, more on vyadi. So therefore, janma, mrityu, jara. Jara is, jara followed by vyadi. Jara, old age. Slowly, jara. Afraid of old age, afraid of the problems which may come when we grow old. So therefore, Janma, Jaranam, Mrityu, Maranam, Jara, Vriddhatvam, old age, Vriddhatvam. So that Vriddhavastha should be handled intelligently. So how can be handled? By becoming a Jnana Vriddha. Everyone will become Vayo Vriddha, that is natural. But Jnana Vriddha is choice. So the Vardhakyam is natural. But Jnana Vardhakyam, Vriddhatvam is a choice of intelligently growing old. Growing old is mandatory, it's order, nobody can change. That is natural, grows old. Growing old is common and it is natural, but growing old intelligently. So therefore, that is purely by choice. Then Vyadayaha, all the Vyadis, Jara, Vida, all these Vyadis, all these are the pleasure. They're all dukkha. All these are dukkhani, kashtani. Adi Padat, we can bring other here. Janma, dukkha, jara, vyadi, dukkha, jara, vyadi, and vyadi is disease. Not only stops with that. There are other things. The Bhashyakara says, Janma Adi. Just say Janma Adi. Here it doesn't list all the problems. While living, there are many problems. There is Priya Viyoga, Apriya Sanyoga. Who likes Priya Viyoga? When something which you love gets separated, pain. Similarly, when something Apriya Sanyoga, that also causes pain. And we have Adhyatmika Dukkha, Adibodhika Dukkha, Adidevika Dukkha. The Dukkha in form, Kashta in all forms are there. All these are dosha. All these are Anvata, Pitta, Shleshmana, all the Malamutra, Durganda, Atmanascha, and Tikakara says, all these are dukkha, painful, doshaha, tesham anudarshanam, muhur muguhu, punas punaha, anudarshanam. Anudarshanam, seeing. Seeing means not physically I seeing, it means thinking, paryalochanam. Paryalochanam, tesha kim bhavati, vairagyam, vairagyam. Vairagyam becomes natural. So therefore, dukkha dosha anudarshanam. Vairagyam, though he has said, but here he says further, he says this so that moksha becomes the goal, priority. So therefore, dukkha anudosham, dukkha anu doshanam. So janmadishu anudarshanam, dukkha anudarshanam. So dukkha anudarshanat kim bhavati dekhendriya vishyabogyeshu vairagyam pachagate. That is the idea. Therefore, vairagyam will come. Then next shloka. Asaktihi anabhishvangaha putra dara grihadishu. One openly says, Putra Dara Grihadishu Asaktihi Anabhishwangaha Putra Putreshu Putra Dara Grihadishu Putreshu Dhareshu Grigeshu Adi Padat, you can bring Dana, Pashu, all the real estate property, everything. Grigyante. Teshu Sarveshu Asaktihi Saktihi Sangaha. Sangaha is Saktihi. Sambandaha Sangaha. So asaktihi, absence of that. Asaktihi. Because of attachment, saktihi, there is, because of us, because of saktihi, there is this, because of uh, the sakti is attachment, because of the sense of the ownership, there is sakti. Asakti means absence of it. So the see with what we are born with and with what we are and how we are connected with, that is given. That is natural, it is given. And therefore we say I possess. It is given and that given by Bhagavan. But over which we have the possessiveness and say I am the owner of that. I own this. Ownership is being the claiming the ownership. In fact, you are not the owner. You are just given that responsibility of managing this body, mind, sense complex with what we are born. It is given. But over which we have this sense of possession so much. We become so possessive with our own body, mind, sense complex, and through that, all the other things and persons, relations, we have the possession. We claim we are the owner. But Bhagavan is the owner. I am being given the responsibility of managing all this. Only when look at this way, this then asakti is natural. Being objective. Being objective is asakti. Like a vairagya. So we base born of vairagya. Born of vairagya, asakti. So anabhishvangaha asakti. Anabhishvangaha also is mentioned. So putradara ghadishu asakti, not claiming them to be your own. They are your own, but your own meaning you are being given the responsibility of being the trustee, the managership, but you cannot claim to be own. Nobody is your own. Even your body itself is not your. You cannot claim to be yours. How long? The body is yours as long as you live. After that, what happened to that body? It's none of your business. So the false sense of this ownership. The ownership is due to ajnana. If you attribute the ownership to the Lord, then you become just a trustee of this. Bhagavan is the owner, and you have been given that for time being. Therefore, you own it, but you don't claim the ownership. So, from being a owner, you you become be a trustee. Trustee has got trust. Trustee. Trust means it's on which, on whom that there is a trust. Trust that he would manage the things properly. He will not usurp. He will not mishandle. So he will act in a way that is trustworthy. That is very trusty. So therefore, having these things, having given this all these things, I manage it very well. So that is a mature way of looking at the things. With regard to putra, dara, grihadeshu, adi padat, other things also can be brought. Everything. With regard to everything, with regard to car, with regard to house, with regard to people, servants, etc. Everything. Then anabhishwangaha, avishwangaha, anabhishwangaha. Avishwangaha, abish, abish, abhishwangaha is atisnegaha. Excessive sneha, love, attachment. That is, this love is blind, doesn't think without any thinking. Atisnegaha. Negaha, atisnegaha. Abhishwangaha is atisnegaha. Absence of that. Anabhishwangaha. So, therefore, excessive attachment to the things like putra, dara, griha, etc. These are all these you think these are the cause of your well-being, and therefore the you attribute the cause of your well-being to all this, and therefore you become emotionally dependent on them. When something happens to them, then you are shaken. There's so much identity with them. As long as they are fine, you are also happy. When something happens, you become miserable. Therefore, anabhishwanga means not complete rejection of the possessions or the people. It is giving them as much care, as much affection as they require, even with regard to putra, dara, etc. Otherwise, you will give so much importance that will be misplaced value and later causes pain. Atmanasta kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Upanishad says everything is loved for the sake of Atma alone. So therefore, nothing is loved for the sake of that thing. Everything is loved for the sake of Atma oneself. As long as self-love is there, then love for other things. Love for other things not purely for the sake of other things. It is for the sake of myself. Therefore, one has to think and act properly, not acting. See, the attachment, and because of attachment, this attachment dictates our action also. Our actions are also based on the how much importance we give to all these things. So therefore, being anabhishwangaha, anabhishwangaha is also a part of vairagya only. Anabhishwangaha. Therefore, you act appropriately. So your actions are not dictated by this excessive love and care for those people. You give them the, the place what they deserve, but at the same time alert to that not carried over by excessive attachment for them, because of excessive attachment, people do a lot of things which are adharmika, thinking that this by by doing like the story of even Valmiki. Valmiki, before he became a Valmiki, he was a robber. He was a robber. He was a robber. So by robbery, he was feeding the family with what he earned through robbery. Not only robbing, he kills the people and rob their wealth. Therefore, all the Mahapapa he was committing. But when he asked the members, family members, when told by Narada, he asked them who are ready to share his papa. Nobody was ready. That time his awakening happened. So what you do for the sake of your your people, putra, dara, griha, everything, that is fine. But excessive attachment to that will be will not be conducive for your spiritual progress, your achieving the goal, life purpose. So therefore, anabhishmangaha, abhi, the word is important. Abhi is excessive. So Bhagavan doesn't say don't care for them, don't have any affection for them, dismiss them. He doesn't say that. It's your responsibility to take care of all these people, but not to have too much importance, excessive importance. That much importance to be given as much it is required. That is important. See, all this advice for the mokshas. Then nityam cha samachittatvam ishta anishta upapattishu. Ishta anishta. So nityam cha samachittatvam. Samachittatvam is tulya chittatvam. Chitta, the antakana, the mind which is tulya with regard to ishta. With regard to ishta, with regard to anishta. Upapattishu. Upapatti is prapti. Ishta praptaye, anishta praptaye. Samachittatvam. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Samatvam yoga is defined as samatvam yoga uchyate as a sadhana. So that is the end. And this samachittatvam, tulyachittatvam, the samatvam as a sadhana which is practiced in the karma yoga, now the way of knowledge becomes natural. Therefore, ishtapapattishu yaha arshaha jayate, anishtapapattishu yaha vishadaha jayate, with regard to both, tulyachittatvam, having the mind which is tulya, which is sama, which is not agitated. That's what sama is. Sama is not reacting at all, not like a inert. That is not a sama. Sama is not reacting. Ishta praptaye natu harshaha, anishta praptaye natu dukkhaha bhavati. Therefore, harsha vishada yoga abhavaha. Not elated by gaining ishtavastu, too much elated. Elation, happiness will be there, but not it jumping and hitting the roof. Similarly, vishada, anishta prapte, vishada, not depressed, not dejected, feeling despondent by gaining anishta vastu. Therefore, ishta upapattishu na hrishyati. In fact, yo na hrishyati na dveshti. Before we saw, yo na hrishyati na dveshti. Tasya prajna pratishtita. Na hrishyati na kupyati. Ishta upapattishu na hrishyati. Anishta upapattishu na kupyati. Therefore, yo na hrishyati na dveshti. Tasya prajna pratishtita. The same idea here is. In fact, this is also forms a part of the Sita Prajna, Lakshana only. All these values the Sita Prajna enjoys. So Bhagavan did not mention the second chapter. Here he is mentioned because these are presented as the values. So therefore, Nityam cha samachittatvam. And samachittatvam is Nityam always. So with regard to Ishta, Anishta, Upapattishu, Tasu, samachittatvam, Tada, Nityam. Then in the next shloka, Maicha Ananya Yogena Avyabhicharini Bhaktihi. Bhaktihi feeling, therefore Avyabhicharini, Avyabhicharin. The bhakti which is Avyabhicharin doesn't flinch, doesn't shake. Unswerving devotion, bhakti, to me, my, in me, the Bhagavan, me, in me, the Lord says, in me, the bhakti which is unflinching, the bhakti which is unflinching. So when there is bhakti for something, love for something, then what happens? There is the mind, when bhakti is there, when mind also moves from that. That is Vyabhicharani bhakti. Bhakti is there, and still the mind moves away from the object of bhakti, from Bhagavan. That is Vyabhicharani bhakti. But here we are talking about Avyabhicharani bhakti. There is no moving away from the object of bhakti. Why? Because we are talking about jnanam, the bhakti to Ishvara. Bhakti to Ishvara. Ishvara is who is Sthitikarta, Srishtikarta, Sthitikarta, Layakarta. He is all knowledge, Sarvajnaha, Sarvashaktiman. He is Jagat Karanam, Brahma. And that Brahma is Aham Asmi. Therefore Bhakti, therefore Jnanam. Therefore Ananya Yogena. We are talking about the means for gaining Ishvara, who is in the form of knowledge. Therefore, Bhakti is Avyabhicharani. So Purushartha Nishya is highlighted. So the Bhakti should be unflinching, not it is not shaking, unswerving, because it is knowledge. The knowledge of the Ishvara. Jagat Karanam Brahma, Ishvara, Ishvara Jnanam. And that Brahma is Aham Asmi. Therefore, there should be unflinching devotion, bhakti, that is jnanam. Therefore, you don't get separated from the knowledge, this knowledge. So, therefore, when Bhagavan is the Ashraya, and when Bhagavan is the Ashraya for me, and Bhagavan is the goal. Bhagavan is in the form of knowledge. So, how can I separate from that knowledge when that is the goal for me? Therefore, with regard to jnanam, I stick to it, having clear Purushartha Nishchaya. When Purushartha Nishchaya is there, then only there will be Abhyabhicharani Bhakti. Bhakti unto the Lord means it is Jnanam. Pure Bhakti and pure Jnanam. Bhakti Swaswarupana Sandhanam. Bhakti iti abhidiyate. Vivekachuravani Acharya says. What is Bhakti? Atma Swarupa Anusandhanam. Atma is Ishvara Bhagavan. So Bhagavat Swarupa Anusandhanam. Ishvara Anupasandhanam. And that is Abhyabhicharani Bhakti. Once you have the knowledge, you don't get separate, you don't move away from that knowledge, you abide in that knowledge, you enjoy Nishta in that knowledge. That's why Ananya Yogena. Ananya Yoga. Ananya Yogena. Bhakti Abhyacharani Bhakti Mayi in me. The bhakti towards me. And the bhakti which is not changing, na Vyabhicharani. It is Tira Bhakti, Drida Bhakti, Drida Jnanam. The bhakti in me which is Dridam, Tira in me. Ananya Yogena. By Ananya Yoga, the word also is important. Ananya Yogena, by not resorting to any other yoga. It is only through Jnana. So it is only by knowledge. Ananya Yogena. So therefore, Mayi, Ananya Yogena, Abhyabhicharani Bhakti. That is another value. The Bhakti towards me. Then Vivikta Desha Sevitvam Aratir Janasam Sadi. Sevitvam, Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. Vivikta Desha Sevitvam, Viviktaha Deshaha. So Viviktaha, it is Desha is a place. The Desha, the place which is Viviktaha, which is Shuddhaha. Viviktaha meaning the place which is Viviktam means Shuddham. Either Swabhavataha or by Samskarataha. The place is Shuddha. Why the place should be Shuddha? Because in a clean place, the mind will become naturally calm. So in terms, when we say clean, in terms of the, the, the physical cleanliness as well as there is no noise, etc. That is clean. No noise, no sound, no disturbance. Viviktadesha sevitvam. That is, one must resort to a place which is pure, clean, and free from the people. There is no crowd. Viviktadesha sevitvam. Desha is Thana, the place. The Viviktadesha sevitvam. The Desham, the Sthanam. Viviktadesha sevi is a pratipadikam. It's a Prathama Bhakti Ekavachana. Viviktadesha sevin. The Viviktadesha sevi, Viviktadesha sevino, Viviktadesha sevinaha. So the one who resorts to the place, sthanam, which is pure, that is Viviktadesha sevi. The status of being that is Viviktadesha sevitvam. Viviktadesha sevitvam, resorting to a place which is pure, which is quiet, which is calm, that is required. Why it is required? Because that only you can practice Nididhyasanam. Viviktadesha sevitvam. You seek a place which is quiet, calm, undisturbed place, which is free from noise and also free from any causes of fear. Could be a forest or could be the bank of a river or mountain, whatever it is. So resorting to such a place, there the mind gets naturally calm. Therefore, the mind, cheerful mind, you can contemplate on Atma. So therefore, that is important. That is a place, in fact, suitable for the study of Shastra and Nididhyasanam. That is why ashrams are generally somewhere in the remote place, not inside the city. So therefore, that is a place one can study. Therefore, the Viviktadesha Sevitvam. Viviktadesha Sevitvam derived from Viviktadesha Sevi. So the status of being resorted to a place which is free from any disturbance. So that is for the person who mumukshu. Therefore, the mumukshu, a jignasu, should resort to a place which is free from impurity, which is free from any sort of fear. Either naturally, or you go and clean and make it pure and then stay and practice your sadhana. That's why I said swabhavataha atava samskarataha nirmalam bhavati yat sthanam tatra gatva nididhyasanam kuru, shamanam kuru, nididhyasanam kuru, sevanam. And also Bhagavan adds another point. Aratir jana samsadi. Jananam, Manushyanam, Samsadi, Tamavaye, Aratihi, Jana Samsadi. So there is no crowd. There is no crowd. Aratir Jana Samsadi is, you can go to such a place which is quiet and calm, only when you love solitude. Therefore, Aratir Jana Samsadi implies seeking solitude, not longing for company. Arati means not having arati. Arati, the word is derived from rati. Narati, arati. Arati, the word derived from ram dhatu. Ram is to revel. You don't revel. Apritihi ityartha haratihi. Priti abhavaha. There is no love for that. Not interested. So aratihi, being aratihi, not having any interest in what? In company of the people. It is not due to aversion. It is not due to aversion in escaping the company. But you require a place where you can face yourself squarely. So therefore, to be with oneself is not easy. It's very difficult. Most difficult job in the world is to be with oneself. Even if you go to a remote place, you carry your mind and all your heavy burden, the thoughts, and you will be, even when you go there, you will be going to live with them. And when you are going to spend your time in meditation, then also you have to live with them, but you should know how to handle them. It's not easy. They all will pop up, all your unconscious, and everything will pop up. Therefore, it's difficult, but has to be done. Therefore, seeking solitude should become natural. When Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, once in a month you go to a place, solitude place, and spend time away from the family for some time in a month. So seeking solitude, so that going there, a person can make a conscious effort and slowly gain the ability to remain alone. So that can spend quality time. You cannot have enjoy your quality time in a crowded place because there are a lot of distractions. But when you go to a place, solitude, when you that there is no people or less people, therefore less disturbance, so that you can pursue your sadhana. That is the idea. So that is why people run to Rishikesh, thinking that that will be a place where one can pursue ashram peacefully. But the place also becoming crowded. Aratir Jana Samsadi, once upon a time. Now it is no more. It's like that. It is crowded. Even further up also it is crowded. Now where to go further? There is no further up. Further up only these Himalayas are there. There we cannot live. So there's another problem. But Bhagavan says, Aratir Jana Samsati, going away, going to a place where there is where you can enjoy certain peace. That implies there is no longing for the company. Generally, we spend our time with our friends or family members, people. Always, without them, we cannot live. But we should learn to live without any company. We should learn to live not longing for company. Therefore, seeking solitude. The Bhashyakara says, Aratihi, Aramanam. Aramanam is not reveling. Jananam, Jananam, Prakritanam, Samskara Shunyanam, Avinitanam, Samsatya, Samsat Samavayaha, Jana Samsat. Jananam, Prakritanam, Jananam, Janas, Samskara Shunyanam. Samskara Shunyanam. In the society, when you live, you have to deal with so many people. You cannot expect them to be very polite, courteous, and all. So you have to live with those people, handle those people, the society. So when you go to a place seeking solitude, avoiding this such company, so that you will, in that place, you will be free from all these people, the disturbance. That's why you go. In fact, you will not go to your place. There, you are surrounded by this samskara shunyanam jananam, samskara shunya jana. You want to go, you want to be in the place. The place is also, suppose if there is no such place, but if the place is surrounded by good people, then that is also is fine because they will not be a source of disturbance for you. So even being in the midst of people, you enjoy your solitude. So the same place, the idea is people around you. If they are favorable, then it is fine. If they are not favorable, then seek solitude. But you cannot avoid them. You have to live with the society only. You cannot avoid them. But now and then you find a place where you can go and spend time with you. Or if the place where you live, you have Samskrita Purusha, then also it is fine. But Jana Samsadi, for that, the Jana, the meaning, but Bhashyakara gives Prakrita Manushyanam Samsadi. Samskara Shunyanam Jananam Samsadi. Iti Bhashyakara says. Samskara Shunya is there is no samskara. There is no refined behavior of the people around you. That is why you seek solitude. That is why you want to be away from them at least for time being. But when you are surrounded by good people, sadhu sangha, satsanga, people having the same thinking, they matching with your mental wavelength, having the same goal, sharing the same goal, then it is fine. Then you don't have to seek a place of solitude. Where you are, there it is fine. But it is not that. That is why Bhagavan says it is rarely found. It's not easy. Such a place, such an ambience where you are surrounded by conducive people, conducive environment. That is rare. That is why Jarate Ranas Samsadi. And also you can have a check whether longing for the company of the people is there or not. Now and then going to such a place. Because we always live in the crowd. Sometimes let us learn to live in the crowd, learn to live without the crowd, not surrounded by people. Is it possible or not? That possibility has to be also checked. That is why Aratir Janasamsadi. So there is no Ramanam, there is no reveling in the midst of a crowd. Therefore, Vivikta Deshaha is Desha, a place, a Sthanam, which is pure, relatively pure from all sorts of disturbances. Sevanam, going there, resorting to such place. The shloka is not complete. Having gone to the place, what will you do? That is said in the following shloka. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanata darshanam. For that purpose only you are going, not to have a a happy time there. Going there for the purpose of adhyatma sadhanam. Tattva jnanata darshanam, adhyatma sadhanam, jnana dividya, that is nididhyasanartham, to practice meditation, to be contemplative, to be meditative, seek the place, such places. That shloka that we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Dhanyavadah.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद
धन्यवाद
गुरुजी. हरि ओम.
धन्यवाद शरण जी.
धन्यवाद शरण जी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद.